Slim and Jim. It's okay to clap if you want to.
Wowie kapowie, Slim. Am I ever excited?
I can tell, Jim.
Do you realize that after tomorrow, sweet little Lance and handsome young Crystal will be married?
Okay, I think you got that a little mixed up there, Jim.
Oh, believe me, Slim, there's a lot of things about marriage that ain't going to turn out the way you think they are.
You can say that again.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
You know, I haven't known a couple a real long time, but I think didn't Crystal used to work at Disney World?
Yeah. She worked at Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, she told me that she and Lance were like two characters from a Disney movie.
Aww. I guess like Cinderella and the Handsome Prince, or Aladdin and Princess Jasmine, or Ariel and Prince Eric.
Well, I was thinking more like Dopey and Grumpy, but those are good. Those are good. That's a good guess.
Well, which one would be Dopey and which one would be Grumpy?
Don't go there, Jim. Everybody out there is working on that one on their own, so let them figure that one out. Sorry.
Well, I also know that Lance is a big Green Bay Packers fan.
Cheeseheads.
That's right. That's why she calls him a cheesehead.
That's right.
I think.
No, she said she calls him a cheesehead because he's a blockhead and he turns yellow every time they have an argument. I mean a discussion.
Discussion, right. We don't talk about arguments so much. But, well, you know, and he grew up in a military family.
Yeah.
That's good because he's about to go to war.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lance, hooray for our side.
That's right. So, amen. Well, you know, I always thought marriage was like a UT football game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
A lot of hoopla.
Yeah.
Followed by disappointment and gloom.
Well, it's funny you said that, Slim, because I always thought marriage was like Vanderbilt football.
Really?
Yeah, because there might be a bright spot every 1 or 2 decades, but really you're looking at a lifetime of misery.
Kind of hurt. Well, Lance said he had found Miss Right. He just didn't realize that her first name was Always. Always Right. Yeah.
Well, Slim, the way I see it, marriage involves 3 rings.
All right. Well, that would be engagement ring.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the wedding ring.
Yeah, and then there's supper ring.
Oh, I forgot that one. Yeah, there are 3 rings. I didn't forget that one.
You know, like my wife, Hoggette, you've heard me talk about Hoggette.
She is so sweet.
You know, Hoggette left her purse laying out somewhere, and somebody stole her credit card. About 2 weeks ago, they stole her credit card, and it's been a mess.
Oh, no. Did you report it?
No.
What?
No, because the guy who stole it, he's spending less money than Hoggette was.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would report it.
Anyway, the big day is tomorrow. There's no talking here. The big day is tomorrow, and it's the bride's big day. And it's the day of the bride, and it's going to be Here Comes the Bride. And we have been asked to issue the official invitation, so we wrote a little ditty. That's what they've been waiting on all day.
Yeah.
There's a wedding a-coming for our young uns. Crystal will shine a glowing bright. And it's a big day for poor Lance too, 'cause he'll never once again have peace and quiet.
Oh, come.
Oh, come to the big happy wedding, a day of celebration and romance. Everyone will smile and cheer for Crystal. We sure hope someone will also notice Lance. I like it when they applaud.
I do too. There's more.
Weddings are always Always such a big day, a day that lives forever in your head. First there's a ceremony of some type, then the best part is when everyone gets fed.
Oh, come, come.
Oh, come to the big happy wedding, a day of celebration and romance. First there's a serenade, no, it's the wrong word. Everyone will smile and cheer for Crystal. We sure hope someone will also notice Lynn. We sure hope someone will also notice Lynn.
Please keep your seat.
You mean they're trying to leave already?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Slim, I still remember when I got married. I remember going down, they have the preacher will sign the license and you got to turn it in.
Right.
And, Hoggett and I went down to turn it in place. And there was 2 lines. One line said, all the husbands who were henpecked. There's a big old long line of them. And the other line said, all the husbands who are in charge. And I was standing there in that line. The guy said, what are you doing standing in this line? And I said, I don't know. My wife told me to stand here.
Should have been the other one.
I'll get bad about that.
Yeah.
I did some research. I don't know the couple well. But I did some research and I found out about how they met. It didn't really work out at first, but later on they got back together. But the thing was, Lance would get set up on blind dates quite a bit.
All the time.
And all the time.
Yeah.
Did you tell him he was coming?
No, I didn't tell you you could talk.
He lost control.
We did security.
So Lance would go on these blind dates, and a lot of times he'd show up and he'd take one look at him and he'd decide he didn't want to go out with him. And what he did was he worked out this thing where he would ring the doorbell, and when the girl answered the door, if he didn't want to go out with her, he would fake an asthma attack.
Oh.
He would start going, and he would leave right there. It worked for him all the time. Then there was the big day. He got set up on a blind date with Crystal. Never met her before. And he went and he rang the doorbell, and when he opened it, he saw the prettiest girl he'd ever seen in his life. And Crystal said, somehow she liked that one so much. They worked it out.
Inhalers.
Yes, they did. Go there or not?
Oh, sure.
Okay, he asked for it.
They love it.
Slim and our cousins, we have an Uncle Cleotis and his Aunt Blabby. Our Aunt Blabby was his wife. And you're younger than me. I don't know if you remember this back when it happened, but Uncle Cleotis would come in from the field, and she would just be yakking and nagging, just railing on him. He'd get up for breakfast, she'd be working on it, he'd go out to the field, peace and quiet. And then he would come back in for lunch, she'd be railing away on it, he'd go back out in the field and work peace and quiet. And that was one place where he could get peace and quiet. And then one day, Aunt Blabby said that he wasn't getting enough work done, so she's going to start following him out to the field and stay on him and make sure he got the work done. And, he was devastated. And they went out there in the field that day, and it just so happened that day, his mule kicked up and kicked her in the head, and it killed her right there on the spot.
I don't remember that.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible, and the funny thing was, you were little. I was a little older than you, and I remember at the funeral home, every man that came by would say something to Uncle Cleotis, and he would nod his head, and then they'd lean over and they'd say something else, and he'd shake his head real hard. And I watched this happen over and over again. I wondered, they must all be saying the same thing. And I asked Uncle Cleotis later, I said, what were they all saying to you when they were coming by? And he said, well, they were coming by, and almost everyone would say, I'm really sorry. That was a shame that happened to your wife. And I'd say, yeah, yes, it was. And then they lean over and they say, can I buy that mule from you? And I say, no way.
That's a valuable mule there. It was an accident.
It was. We know how long they been dating?
2 years.
She told him 2 years.
2 years. A long time for people their age.
It is.
And our advice to you guys is you hurry up and get married really fast. Because you've already put 2 years into it and you wouldn't want anything to happen before you get married. So this song is about that.
I don't. You all right? You okay?
I'm alright.
Think we can get on with it?
I get the vapors sometimes.
Oh. Is that what I'm smelling?
No. Here we go.
All right.
Crystal and Lance, they've been dating quite a while. Time's passing by, better not wait. They better make sure that they get down the aisle. And hurry, the time is getting late. Better hurry, hurry, hurry down the aisle. Crystal, run, don't delay. Better hurry, hurry down the aisle. Wouldn't want to wait another day. This is where it gets real romantic.
Okay.
Crystal and Lance, they are so much in love. Hearts are on fire, passion is great. Time spent together just can't be enough. So hurry, it hurts too much to wait. Better hurry, hurry down the aisle. Crystal, run, don't delay. Better hurry, hurry down the aisle. Wouldn't want to wait another day. Now, Slim, this is where we ask for audience participation.
These people out here?
I think they can do it.
Okay, they look very dry.
What you want to do is when I sing the word, you help them echo me.
Yeah. Sing with me. You ready to sing? All right.
It's the chorus. Ready? Better hurry down the aisle. Crystal, run, don't delay. Better hurry down the aisle. Wouldn't want to wait another day. Wouldn't want